Good morning and Jai Hind to all the distinguished guests and my dear colleagues. On behalf of NCPOR, I, Dr. Avinash Kumar, extend my warm welcome and heartfelt greetings to our esteemed Chief Guest, Ambassador Pankaj Saran, Convenor of NatStrat and member of National Security Advisor Board, for taking time to grace this occasion with his presence. I welcome our guest of honor, Professor Anil Bhardwaj, Distinguished Professor and Director of Physical Research Laboratory, Ahmedabad, and invited speaker for today's event. His presence has immensely valued for this event. इस शुभ अवसर पर मैं आप सभी का हार्दिक स्वागत करता हूं और अभिनंदन करता हूं और आप सभी को NCPOR के संस्थापना दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देता हूं. It is my honor to welcome each one of you who gathered here to celebrate the 24 years of National Center for Polar and Ocean Research establishment, earlier known as NCPOR, the premier Indian Polar and Ocean Research Institute. Our institution is under the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, which has been dedicated to the nation on 5th April 2000, with a mandate to plan the national expedition and strategic interest in polar regions. NCPOR is a nodal agency responsible for planning and executing the Indian expedition to Antarctica, the Southern Ocean, the Arctic, and the Himalaya, as well as deep ocean scientific studies and exploration. It maintains the Indian polar research stations, namely Maitri and Bharti in Antarctica, Himadri in Arctic, Himans in Himalaya. It also operates the floating oceanographic research platform called Sagar Kanya. Throughout the year, NCPOR has made a significant stride in the scientific research, contributing immense in global knowledge. It has successfully launched 46 expeditions to the Antarctica and 15 expeditions to Arctic, along with the numerous expeditions in Himalaya and Southern Ocean. And the last year, it was a pride to launch the first winter expedition to the Arctic. Without the further delay, I would like to invite our chief guest, Ambassador Pankaj Saran, and the guest of honor, Professor Anil Bhardwaj, to kindly grace us with his presence on the dais. I also request our director, Dr. Thamban, Meloth, Dr. Vijay, Kumar, Scientist G, MoES, and Dr. Rahul, Mohan, Group Director, to please join with them in the stage. Please give them a big round of applause. Thank you, sir, for joining us. I would now request our director, Dr. Thamban Meloth, to present a welcome bouquet to our chief guest, Ambassador Pankaj sir. And to our guest of honor, Professor Anil Bhardwaj. Request our director, sir, please welcome Dr. Vijay Kumar. Now I will request our group director of Polar Science, Dr. Rahul Mohan, to present a bouquet to our director. Now I will take the opportunity to welcome Dr. Rahul Mohan. एक बार फिर से सभी माननीय अतिथिगण और यहाँ उपस्थित सभी लोगों का स्वागत करता हूँ. We hope this bouquet will convey our gratitude, admiration and respect for all your presence here today, sir. भारत की संस्कृति के अनुसार प्रत्येक दिन की शुरुआत दीप प्रज्वलन समारोह से की जाती है. यह समारोह एक पवित्र कार्य होता है जो दिव्य आशीर्वाद को आमंत्रित करता है और सकारात्मकता और शांतिपूर्ण वातावरण पैदा करने में बहुत सहयोग करता है. To begin the day proceedings, let's invoke the blessings of the Almighty and light the ceremonial lamp, a symbol of light, of knowledge that illuminates our paths towards the progress and enlightenment. I request our esteemed dignitaries on the stage to please light the lamp and mark the auspicious beginning of this celebration. To make this day is blessed one, I request Miss Vidya for the invocation prayer and light the ceremonial. We light the ceremonial lamp and seeking the blessings of the divine.
वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा. या कुन्देन्दु तुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रामृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युत शङ्कर प्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा. शुक्लां ब्रह्म विचारसार परमा माध्या जगद्व्यापिनीं वीणा पुस्तकधारिणीम् अभयदा जाड्यान्धकारापहा. हस्ते स्फटिकमालिका विदधतीं पद्मासने संस्थिता वन्दे ता परमेश्वरी भगवतीं बुद्धिप्रदां शारदा बुद्धिप्रदां शारदा बुद्धिप्रदां शारदा.
Now I would request Dr. Rahul Mohan, Group Director of Polar Science, to kindly come forward and officially welcome our esteemed guest and the gathering.
Namaskar and a very good morning to all of you. A very warm welcome to the NCPOR family members and each one of you present today to witness this auspicious occasion of the 24th NCPOR Foundation Day, our esteemed organization. I am elated to stand before you all today as we commemorate another year of remarkable achievements. Indeed, we have a dedicated team of personnel to explore the polar world and the oceanic regions. All of you present here would endorse that it is always important to reflect on the journey which has brought us here. Needless to emphasize, the past 24 years, the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research has been developing and going through different stages of life. From its birth way back in 1998 to getting dedicated to the nation in the year 2000 on 5th April. That was the birth and the childhood started, to the teenhood, and now the youth stage, as you all are relishing today. Many of you sitting here would have seen the entire sequence, and probably you can visualize in front of your eyes as the time lapse how things progressed at the Antarctic Study Center earlier and now NCPOR. But all of you would agree that we are at the forefront of pioneering research, pushing the boundaries of scientific knowledge, and fostering international collaborations in the fields of polar and ocean sciences. Our commitment to excellence has helped us to achieve what some skeptics never thought of on this 36 acres of garbage land gifted to the Department of Ocean Development by the Goa government 39 years ago in 1985. NCPOR is marching ahead as a beacon of excellence, not only in India, but it has global footprints. The testimony to which are the international representations, numerous awards and rewards, high quality research papers, national and international collaborations, and many, many more accolades. Today, as we celebrate our Foundation Day, some of you can call it our birthday as well, it's an opportune moment to acknowledge the great efforts of our former leaders, the founding leaders, the scientists, researchers, technicians, support staff. All of them have given relentless efforts in, I truly believe the 21st century belongs to the polar regions and to the polar domain. The unwavering dedication and passion of our personnel have expanded our understanding of these vital ecosystems, but have also contributed significantly in understanding the global climate change, the global challenges, one of them of course being the climate change, the biodiversity changes that are happening towards sustainability. Furthermore, on this occasion, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed collaborators, partner institutions, stakeholders, and never to forget the Ministry of Earth Sciences who have been instrumental in our success stories. It is through our collective efforts and shared vision that we have been able to achieve remarkable feats, make significant strides towards a better and more sustainable Earth for generations to come. As we march ahead into the 25th year of exploration and discovery, let us reaffirm our commitment to advancing scientific knowledge, promoting synergy by fostering cooperation for the greater good of humanity. Let us continue to push these boundaries and possibly duly inspired by the spirit of curiosity that probably defines our institution. In conclusion, I would like to once again extend my warmest welcome to all our distinguished guests on the dais. Of course, all my seniors and colleagues sitting amidst in this auditorium who have joined us to celebrate this momentous occasion. May this Foundation Day serve as a reminder of our past achievements and be a catalyst for the well-defined excellence for which we are the personnel of the National Center for Polar and Ocean Research. Dhanyavad and Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your thought-provoking welcome and giving the brief history about how to NCPOR journey. Before we proceed further, let's take a moment to acknowledge the remarkable achievement of NCPOR and the leadership of all the directors. Now I may request our director, Dr. Thamban Meloth, Director NCPOR, to share the insight into the significant milestone attended by the NCPOR.
Thanks, Avinash. Respected dignitaries on dais, invited guests in the audience, my dear colleagues and friends. A very good morning and a very happy foundation to each one of you on this 24th Foundation Day of National Center for Polar and Ocean Research, previously known as National Center for Antarctic and Ocean Research, and prior to that known as Antarctic Study Center. Long back, the story started. On this auspicious occasion, I'm really glad that our presence of Ambassador Pankaj Saran, who has been involved quite a lot in polar programs as part of the National Security Council, as well as actually as a part of the Indian Arctic Policy. Dr. Anil Bhardwaj, who has been actually known to us for many times actually as an invited speaker, as well actually was very keen interest in knowing more about these regions unknown to many others. Dr. Vijay Kumar from the Ministry of Earth Sciences, who is the head of polar programs at MoES, as well as being a very keen supporter for all our activities. Although 24 years look like a very short time period in an institution, when we think about the institutions which are going to course 100 years and centuries and so on. However, NCPOR is very unique in the way that we have activities which are both scientific, operational, and other the policy matters which we involve, to the regions which are completely remote and unknown to a lot of people, with a mission mandate to understand all these regions for the benefit of mankind as well as for the country. So therefore, we have, I think each one of these milestones are important to be celebrated as we get, getting into the Silver Jubilee milestone this year. Well, scientific research is the guiding light, as I keep telling. Doing science in regions like very remote regions and challenging regions like Antarctic, Arctic and Himalayas require a very strong operational and logistic support. Liaising with various institutions across the country, internationally, and the foreign missions and other agencies and so on. So as you are aware, our activities are quite spread across the world, from frozen poles to the warm tropics, from across from the surface of the ocean to the deep unknown mysteries of the deep ocean, from the sea floor to the interior of the earth, from the troposphere to the ionosphere, and so on. So there is not a single place where we have no research interest. That shows actually the kind of vastness which we deal with from this very small institution like this. So therefore, it's also like look like sometimes we can be spread thin, but I think that's where you start somewhere. Then you try to populate with larger number of manpower to make it bigger and better out of it. And towards such complex mission, we also have platforms as Avinash was talking about in Antarctica, Arctic, Himalayas, as well as floating platforms around the ocean, which again we want to improve in coming years and decades. So considering such a remote and extreme environments, conditions that what we deal with, so managing such dedicated stations and activities are not a neat task. So you ask anyone at NCPOR, any given time, you would never have quite a large, nearly 20 to 30% of the population in this hall. That's true today also, because they are always on move. So this makes NCPOR the only national agency for facilitating as well as driving studies in Antarctic, Arctic, Himalayas, and Southern Ocean. Therefore, we are very proud to call ourselves actually as the Indian gateway to the polar regions, because we happens to be the only way actually where you can undertake these activities. Of course, understanding polar regions are extremely important for the future of the mankind and future of the Indian society. Antarctic and Arctic are the key drivers of the global weather systems and the climate system. Antarctica houses nearly about 70% of the global freshwater in frozen form. And it has actually also the some of the most largest ice sheet if melts, which can contribute to the very huge amount of increase in sea level as close as about 60 meters. And most importantly, the melting, although the melting of those ice happens in the polar regions, especially in Antarctica or Arctic, how the impact could be much bigger in the mid-latitudes and tropics. This is something actually is now very well known. Any sea level future change is going to be much more dramatic, much more bigger in tropics and mid-latitudes compared to polar regions. So therefore, what happens in Arctic or Antarctic does not stay there. It comes to us and directly impacts us. And recent studies even have shown that the changes in Arctic sea ice has a very significant role in the extreme weather events happening in India. And as the climate is changing further and further, we are expected to have this extreme weather much bigger and larger, which is again directly responsible from Arctic. And as the Arctic sea ice is also melting, it's going to be a very hotbed for international geopolitics, as many of us knows. It's going to be a potentially opening for new resources, the new mineral resources, hydrocarbons, but also fishery resources. And more importantly, it could open up a new sea route, what they call actually as a northern sea route. And all this could make it a very, very happening place. And it looks very tempting, like, okay, there's a lot of things happening there, a lot of, the future is going to be in Arctic. But you should also know that these routes are very unknown. Therefore, it's also possible actually with incredibly dangerous routes, as we know with people working in polar regions. Just because some ice is melting does not make the region safe enough to travel or safe enough to do your walk. You still need to know about the region, much bigger way, which is still unknown in large part of the Arctic. So it's not going to be as simple as what people think about it. And Avinash asked me to actually should also talk about actually some of the things what we did, we have kind of achieved. But I know that actually I think I don't have to tell that because anyone working in NCPOR know that there is never a dull moment. Almost every day is a kind of an active activity day here. Every day something happens or other happens. So people are on their toes. So, but I still like to highlight a few things which are just actually kind of, I won't say the real, the scientific achievements which is there in public domain anyway. So for the 43rd Indian scientific expedition happened, just completed its summer activity. The vessel returned to the mainland and many of our activities which we planned couldn't be completed. And more importantly for this year, sir, actually we also have had 3 international researchers from Mauritius and Bangladesh joining Indian Antarctic program, which goes a long way for India's neighborhood policy. I think that's something that kind of way we take leadership in this area. And the 2023-24 also happens to be a year for the first year of implementing the Indian Antarctic Act 2022, which has made us actually a very responsible country in the Antarctic treaty system. We're very proud to say that actually we are implementing all in its complete honest way. And it, of course, it added a lot of workload to our people at NCPOR as well as MoES to bring in more documentation, more the permits and so on. But I think they have been doing it with a smiling face. Thanks to from NCPOR Dr. Rahul, Mohan and Dr. Saini for leading this, and from Dr. Vijay Kumar from MoES, leading from MoES, and making it happen without any hitches. The year also happened to be the first time as kind of a milestone for us actually when we initiated the winter expeditions to Arctic for undertaking research during the dark polar nights in the Arctic region, which we have not done in the past. We have been doing in Antarctica, of course, but Antarctica we have our own stations. So Arctic we still depend on some other places. So it helped actually is to not only new experience in terms of operational and science, but most importantly it added new scientific value to our Arctic research, especially in space sciences, astrophysics, and some the atmospheric aerosol studies. I think it's going to be a very long way for us to continue our interest in the Arctic and expand it further across the Arctic region, beyond Svalbard, Greenland, and the Canadian Arctic, and so on. This is something which we are on the process now. My congratulations to Dr. Manish Tiwari and his team. And this year also happened to be the exploration for the mineral resources as part of the deep ocean mission took up in a very full steam. after a lot of preparation and delays due to COVID and so on, actually now we are on the full steam. Currently, very sophisticated near seabed geophysical surveys are being undertaken using very advanced autonomous underwater vehicles. And that will continue for several months. And our entire team, which are the people who are recruited recently, actually been full set continuously on to these cruises to ensure that actually we make best utilize these facilities as well as opportunities. And congratulations again to my colleague Dr. John Pullian and his team for putting a lot of sleepless nights over this. After several years of preparation and planning, we're also going to have finally the cusp of having a new, building a new oceanographic research vessel. As the only vessel which we have, the overall the Saran is nearly 50 years old now, and it's unable to do many of the research which we could carry out in the past, and which is actually affecting our scientific activities. The new vessel is something which will again make us a leader in this particular field. I'm also very happy to say that actually our academic committee has been doing quite a lot of good, new initiatives, and also come up with an ideas for support the staff which is working at NCPOR, how to make them motivate, and all this. All these are going to be make it in a very, although we are starting very small, it's going to make it very important to ensure that we have a motivated staff with us. Of course, these are all just a small beginning, and just based on limited nominations which we have received. A lot of our people are very shy to nominate themselves for other, some way we are very, it's only starting point. And also happen to be that actually many of our senior leaders are also the people who consider they are also our pillars of this particular institution. Therefore, they probably consider that actually these kind of awards are meant for youngsters who require more motivation so that we get better science out of it. As we are aware, we are in the middle of the organization of the 46th Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting, which will happen during the 20 to 30 May at Kochi. It's going to be one of the very big event for us because it's happening in India only for the second time in the history, and also happening after nearly 15 years after the last time. And it has a lot of huge administrative policy and other technical matters which need to be done during that period, which require lots of preparation, which is not a normal scientific conference or something. And NCPOR and MoES have been working very tirelessly for the last almost a year for organization this high-level meeting. And we have today with us actually Ambassador Pankaj Saran, who also is our proposed chair for the 46th Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. We're raising this occasion. And Dr. Vijay Kumar, who has happened to be the head of the host country secretary, who has been working quite relentlessly on this particular aspect. Dr. Rahul Mohan again is the deputy chair of the host country secretariat, and as well as chair of our man for all seasons, I would say actually for the as local organization and many other roles. And a big shout out to our Avinash Kumar, who is again a man for all seasons for any activity we always have him here. So I'm grateful to all this bunch of people who always take care of without even telling them. As we have just completed 24th year and stepping into a silver jubilee milestone, I'm looking forward to more ideas and enhanced leadership from many of you. Most of us come actually as youngsters to the institution. Some of us are grown to, all of us, some of us become really old and getting more grey. And but however actually, but it's also come up as grown as a family. There's a lot of togetherness in this institution, which I look forward to the newly joined staff as well as those who will come in future to ensure that that atmosphere is kept intact. And it should be, because I want this place to be a happy place to live, work, and interact, so that they deliver much bigger than what the potential is. And we should come out with ambitious programs as we get into this Silver Jubilee year that will make the country proud. As India is also going through the Amrit Kal of, with the vision 2047, when we complete this 100 years of our independence. We are looking forward to more ideas, and we are also, our vision is to emerge as a leading global institution or center for polar and ocean studies, through excellence in science and operations, to address global challenges, to uphold India's strategic interest in these areas. With such advanced vision and in coming years, I am very confident NCPOR will make India's flag fly high. Happy foundation to each one of you. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for highlighting the achievement and accolades of NCPOR. Sir, as you said, that will definitely keep our spirit high and strive to contribute to NCPOR progress. प्रत्येक संस्थान के स्थापना दिवस का एक विशेष स्थान उसके इतिहास में होता है। आज हमारे संस्थान और हम सभी के लिए एक ऐतिहासिक दिन है, जो हमें अपने संस्थान की सफल यात्रा की याद दिलाती है, जो उत्कृष्टता, नवाचार और ध्रुवीय एवं समुद्री अनुसंधान के प्रति निरंतर सहयोग और अटूट समर्पण को दिखाता है। Before we invite Dr. Vijay Kumar, scientist ji, Ministry of Earth Sciences, to address the gathering, I would like to introduce her. Dr. Vijay Kumar obtained his PhD in Water Resource Engineering from Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi. While working with the National Institute of Hydrology from 1994 to 2011, he has authored a number of technical reports in area of groundwater modeling, analysis of hydrometeorological variables, climate change, spatial modeling, lake hydrology, etc., and published more than 100 research papers in various international, national, and international conferences and journals. He has contributed significantly in many of the consultancy and sponsored projects, and has conducted many specialized training course and short duration course on the various hydrological aspects in field of engineering. He is leading and heading the program pertaining to polar and ocean cryosphere, including the Antarctica, Arctic, and Himalaya. He is responsible to plan, review, monitor, and coordinate these programs for the country, as well as responsibility for the various policy decisions. He is actively involved in formulation of India Arctic Policy and Indian Antarctic Act. Currently, Dr. Vijay Kumar is working with the Ministry of Earth Sciences, Government of India, Scientist Team, and Advisor. I will request sir to please share your perspective to the journey for the NCPOR.
Thank you, Dr. Avinash. Respected Ambassador Saran, Convenor NatStrat and member of the National Security Advisory Board, Dr. Anil Bhardwaj, Director of the Physical Research Laboratory, Dr. Thamban, Dr. Rahul, some of the people sitting in the audience, Dr. Sudhakar, Professor Ved. First of all, good morning to all of you, and many congratulations on the 24th Foundation Day of NCPOR. आप सबको बहुत बधाई फाउंडेशन। As such, Dr. Ravi Chandran, Secretary, Ministry of Earth Sciences, has also conveyed his good wishes to all of you on this occasion. I thought of coming and participate and with you on this day, but due to some other urgent work in Delhi, I was not able to travel to. If we look at the NCPOR, which was earlier NCA, Antarctic Research Organization, and before that Antarctic Cell. So this is the youngest institute under Ministry of Earth Sciences among all the autonomous bodies. We have 5 autonomous bodies, and IITM is the oldest autonomous body under Ministry of Earth Sciences. NIOT has celebrated their silver jubilee almost 2-3 years back. Last year it was the silver jubilee of the inquest, and another issue, the NSS, is as such we have taken over from the Kerala government in 2014, but it is also, you can say, older than NCPOR in existence. And over the years, NCPOR contribution in various fields like you have done very good work in scientific activities. But more than that, whatever work you are doing in NCPOR is more strategic in nature. So you look at any, you can say, activities related to border science, you look into the activities related to the deep ocean survey, you look at the activities related to the continent itself. So all these projects are very strategic in nature. So many of the people in the country may not be knowing that strategic nature of the activities and whatever help you are, you can say, giving to the country to increase our footprint at the global level. And NCPOR, we have seen, has many of the infrastructure or the facilities which are only available in NCPOR. You take the example of ice core lab, it is only the lab which is available only in NCPOR. Then I think now you are going to establish a polar museum, so that will be also the first polar museum in the country. Similarly, many other facilities, infrastructure which you have, so it is only available in NCPOR. And I am looking, as I have said, NCPOR is the youngest issue, so I am looking, many young people are also there in NCPOR, and we have, let's say, very great expectation from NCPOR. If you look at the Ministry of Earth Sciences point, always with great privilege, great proud, we tell everybody that yes, we have NCPOR under Ministry of Earth Sciences, and they are doing great work, which are very strategic in nature. And I think in the coming days, as Dr. Thamban has also said, the importance of NCPOR will increase. So, I think in Ravi Chandran also tells many times that the next 25 years are very important for NCPOR, for Ministry of Earth Sciences, and for the country. So the next 25 years, if you look at the polar regions in 2047, 2048, Antarctic Treaty will be reviewed at that time. So by that time, Arctic ice, we will not know, we don't know exactly what will happen to the Arctic ice by that time, what will happen to the routes in the Northern Sea at that time. And similarly, the deep ocean minerals in the continental shelf areas. So many countries are fighting now and want to claim more and more areas in the international waters. As such, NCPOR is already contributing in the area of deep sea mining. They have already signed a contract with the International Civil Authority, and recently we have also submitted another application to claim another area with the International Civil Authority. So that shows the strategic nature, and these directions to claim all these area comes from the highest, you can say, office within India. So we are very happy with the, you can say, performance of NCPOR, and hope that whatever hard work you are doing, you will continue to do this hard work in the future also. And this year we are also organizing the Antarctic Treaty Consultative meeting next month. So we are expecting almost 400 delegates from almost 56 countries and many observers and others. So that will be also a big event. And NCPOR is as such taking the full responsibility of organizing this event. So, as such, next year we will be celebrating the Silver Jubilee and hope we will have more, a bigger, you can say, celebration next year on this day. And my best wishes to our other family members.
Thank you, sir, for your brief address and your valuable all the remarks for the NCPOR. I am honored to take the opportunity to introduce our guest of honor and foundation day speaker, Dr. Professor Anil Bhardwaj, distinguished professor and currently serving as a director for the Physical Research Laboratory, Ahmedabad. Professor Bhardwaj is a distinguished professor and academician renowned for his pioneering contribution in the field of space and planetary exploration. He holds the numerous prestigious titles and honors, including being the Fellow of National Academy of the Science, FNN, Fellow of the Academy of the Science, FASC, and Fellow of the National Academy of Science India, FANSC. In addition to his remarkable achievement, Professor Bhardwaj has honored on the several awards and JC Bose Fellow, AOGS Fellow, among them are. Professor Anil Bhardwaj specialized in planetary and space sciences, serving as a principal investigator for key experimental on Chandrayaan-1, Mars orbit mission, Chandrayaan-2, Chandrayaan-3, and upcoming the Aditya L1 mission. His expertise extends beyond the national boundaries, as Sir has been honored as a esteemed academician of the International Academy of Astronautics. His membership in his prestigious international organization highlights its global impact and recognition within the field of astronautics and space exploration. He has made outstanding contribution to the science, research and academia, making him a true luminary in the field of space and planetary exploration. It is a great honor that Professor Bhardwaj is there with us today. I would now invite Professor Bhardwaj sir to please come forward and share your vision with us and address the gathering.
Thank you, Avinash. सुप्रभात, नमस्कार। 24वें स्थापना दिवस पर NCPOR के सभी साथियों को हार्दिक बधाई, शुभकामनाएं। एम्बेसडर सरन, डॉक्टर मेलोथ, डॉक्टर राहुल मोहन, डॉक्टर विजय कुमार, and all the colleagues and staff of NCPOR. It's always a pleasure and privilege for me to come to NCPOR. I have been associated with NCPOR in various capacities. I was a member of RAC long back, maybe one solar cycle back. And very recently, last year I was here for a conference which is famous conference hosted by NCPOR, that is NCPS, right? And prior to this version of NCPS, the pre-COVID NCPS also I was here. So both these conferences was happening on the heel of some great missions. 2019, when I came here, I was talking to all of you to look for Chandrayaan-2 orbiter and landing mission. And this time when I came last year in April, I again mentioned that please look for Chandrayaan-3 landings. And whole world knows what India has achieved in the Chandrayaan-3 landing, with India becoming the first country in the world to have the landing at 70 degrees Celsius. And the whole world has applauded the capabilities and the capacity within the country in the area of space sciences. Ocean research, polar research, space research, they have a lot of commonalities. In space we say known, 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 unknown, unknown, unknown. That means there are many things which we know perfectly well. There are many things which we know that we don't know. But there are many things which we don't know that we don't know. And the same is true if you look carefully, the oceanic research and polar research, still we know that we don't know. But still there are many things which we do not know that we don't know. Right? And it's always a pleasure exploring things like we do when we go to Antarctica or Arctic, or talking about having ocean expeditions. And the same is true in the case of space explorations, because in space the biggest problem is there is no क्या बोलते हैं उसको, हिंदी में बोलते हैं गुंजाइश, अंग्रेजी में वर्ड मेरे को नहीं आ रहा है, बट एरर का कोई गुंजाइश नहीं. It has to be 99.99999% to achieve the success. 0.001% भी आपको सक्सेस की बजाय फेलियर में दे सकता है. That's why we have to do lot of testing on the ground, simulations on the ground, to see that the systems which are going to send in space works. ओशन रिसर्च, पोलर रिसर्च में थोड़ा सा फायदा है कि कुछ दिक्कत है तो वापस आ सकते हैं, रिपेयर कर सकते हैं, बट हमारे पास कोई गुंजाइश नहीं. एंड दिस इज गोइंग टू बी मोर ट्रू व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट गगनयान मिशन, सेंडिंग ह्यूमंस टू स्पेस, राइट, बिकॉज देयर लाइफ इज इन्वॉल्व. एंड we have to be not just careful but completely assured that things are perfectly well for us to take this kind of missions. You must have also heard that government has given a lot of heavy load mandate to Department of Space that India should not just confine to having a Gaganyaan mission, which is for sending humans to space, but we should have our own Bharatiya Antariksha Station, and by 2040 Indians should land on it. Now this is a tall task. We have still not gone to space, right? We are in 2024, and by 2040 government is telling Department of Space that we should have a human landing, so that when India celebrates its 100 years, that is 2047, we should have humans from India on. I am here representing Physical Research Laboratory. So I am the bada bhai of Meloth ji or NCPOR, because PRL was established in the year 1947 when India became independent. Very soon after India became independent, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai established PRL on 11th November 1947. So as country was celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we were also celebrating the Platinum Jubilee of PRL. And I am glad to see that NCPR is going to celebrate its quarter century or 25 years of existence in the coming year. So my all very best wishes to all of you on 24th, but not just 24th, but upcoming 25th celebration for the NCPOR. And I wish that NCPOR become the institute in the country in the area of polar and oceanic research. But as we are just talking about that, we should also look at similarities between the Antarctic, Arctic and the Himalayan regions. That's called the third pole. And it is very important that we play a major role, not within the country but also in the international community of nations, where we talk about how things should be conducted in the future, how exploitations is already happening, but what best can be done to make it more sustainable, because as the United Nations Charter says that sustainability has to be there built up in all the regimes of society, including the research. And therefore, I believe that NCPR should also take up how we can make the things more sustainable, so that in future generations will also enrich by what we are doing, and also have a lot of other goals to set up because they have a lot of research to do. So with this, let me thank once again all of you on the 24th day, and have fun, but also look back and look forward of what should be done in the next 25 years. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for the sharing your valuable experience and enlightening us with your inspirational word. हम सभी को गर्व है कि NCPOR के हमारे वैज्ञानिक आज तक जितने भी अनुसंधान किए हैं वो देश में एक पहचान भी है, और यह भारतीय ध्रुवीय अनुसंधान के रूप में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पहचान भी प्राप्त कर चुका है। हम सभी को गर्व है कि आने वाले समय में भी हम ऐसे ही कार्य करते रहेंगे। With the due respect or immense pride, I would like to introduce our esteemed chief guest, Ambassador Pankaj Saran, Convenor, NatStrat, member of National Security Advisor Board. Ambassador Pankaj Saran is a former diplomat and 40 years experience in the foreign, strategic and national security affairs. He has served as a key position within the Government of India in the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Council Secretariat, Ministry of External Affairs and several Indian missions to abroad. He has served as an Indian ambassador to Russia, India's High Commissioner to Bangladesh, and head of the National Division in the Ministry of External Affairs, dealing with Nepal and Bhutan. He has worked in different capacities with the successive Indian Prime Minister in the Prime Minister's office, contributing to decisions making in a high level of diverse range of sectors, including the foreign affairs and national security. From 2018 to 2001, he has served as a Deputy National Security Advisor for a strategic affair under the Prime Minister Narendra Modi, dealing with the regional and global strategy formulations, including the maritime security, Arctic affairs, neighborhood policy, and technology and economic security. Ambassador Pankaj Saran presently is a convener of NatStrat in Delhi-based Independent Center for the Research on Strategic and Security Issues. He is a member of National Security Advisor Board and Distinguished Fellow of National Maritime Foundation. He is a regular commentator and writer on the foreign affairs, security and strategic issues. It is indeed a pleasure to welcome sir to share his thought. So please, I'll request our chief guest to please come forward.
Good morning, everyone. My warmest greetings to all of you on this very special day, the foundation day of NCPOR. Thank you very much, Dr. Thamban for inviting me and giving me this great honor. Dr. Vijay Kumar, Dr. Anil, Bhardwaj, Dr. Rahul, Mohan, and all of you. It's a great privilege and delight to be back here. I was here last year, so to be back here, it's wonderful, and my heartiest congratulations. Normally, a foundation day is meant to take stock of what you have achieved in the last 1 year and to reflect on what you can do for the future. And the foundation day of any institution is celebrated with a sense of pride and a sense of achievement. And I have no doubt that the NCPOR has earned the right to celebrate its foundation day with its head held high and with a great sense of achievement of what it has done, not just in the last 1 year, but also, as Dr. Meloth said, over the last 24 years. Through him, I actually want to congratulate all of you. I want to congratulate the director firstly, because no institution can succeed and achieve its full potential without a good leader. And therefore, leadership becomes critical to success. So, Dr. Meloth, my greatest compliments to your leadership of how you are leading and shaping an institution of which every Indian needs to be proud of. You know, the thing about NCPOR or any other institution is the quality of its manpower and human resources. No institution can survive and prosper unless and until it has the right human material. And as you sit before me, I look at you, all of you, as the frontline pioneers and warriors of India and for India in these very difficult domains. You are, in your day-to-day activities, discharging responsibilities and working in your own very quiet ways on matters which are of critical importance to humankind, not just to India, but to humankind. And with limited resources, you have been able to create a culture of research, a series of achievements that every Indian should be proud of. And I want to congratulate you for that. And I see a lot of you, most of you are young. And I would only say that what distinguishes you from someone else is the fact that you're in the frontiers of science. And if you're in the frontiers of science, it's your brain power and your sense of ambition, your sense of fearlessness, and your hunger for discovery and for exploration. That is the only limit to your success. There is nothing else which can hold you back to ensure that your institution becomes the best in the world. Because beyond a point, it's not just a question of how much money you have or how much financial resources you have. Because when you compete with others in the world, especially in the area of science and research and exploration, the world is flat. You are as good as your counterparts across the world. And therefore, what you produce and what you imagine is something that is entirely up to your capabilities. It is inherent in your capabilities. The fact is that you have achieved a lot in these years. The Indian polar, ocean and Himalaya domains and the research and the work that has been done is extraordinary. Today, we are at a point where it is being recognized by the entire world. It is being respected. And as you said today in Goa, you should know that you are attracting the attention of all your counterparts all across the world. And everyone is watching you closely in terms of what you are doing and how you are doing. So we began with adversity, you began with limited resources, you began with maybe patronage from within the government, from a very small section of the government. You may not be familiar with how, let's say, the Government of India functions, but what you should know is that there are only a few sectors or a few domains which occupy the attention of the top leadership of India. In this case, I mean the Prime Minister and his office. You are one of those very few domains and sectors which gets the direct attention and the patronage of the Prime Minister. Space, atomic energy are the others which come to my mind. And I used to work in the Prime Minister's office in the mid-90s when it was the Department of Ocean Development. And at that time, Prime Minister was himself the minister in charge. And I remember the Antarctic expeditions which began even at that time. So, you have had that advantage. You will continue to enjoy that advantage. But the question now is, starting from adversity, you are where you are today. The question is that on a foundation day, it is a good time to reflect, to introspect as to what can we do better than what we did in the past. One of my former bosses used to tell me about achievements and work. There is nothing that you've done in the past that cannot be improved. And there is no mistake that you can make which cannot be justified. So we should never rest on our achievements and laurels. And I would only urge and appeal and join the other distinguished speakers before me to encourage you to build on your successes and to take every day as a challenge, to think bigger, to be more ambitious, and to challenge yourself and the institution. The question is whether what you're doing today is happening in an environment, internationally speaking, which is conducive to your work. Now, the domains in which you work are unfortunately not bound by the political or the geographical territories of India. Your workspace is the world, is the globe. That's your workspace. It's not the territory of India. Because if it is the territory of India, you have full sovereignty, you have political authority, you have control. But when you step beyond the borders of your country, then you immediately face the question of sovereignties, of other nationalities, other nations, other interests. You face the reality of both international cooperation, but also international competition. And as I will describe to you shortly, today, international confrontation. So how does that world, which is a real world, intersect with your job and your responsibilities as scientists, researchers, and explorers? That intersection is what we should be also focusing on, so that as you do your day-to-day work in your rooms, in your laboratories, in your research stations, you have that background in your mind about the context in which you're working. There is an intersection between science and strategy. And that is something which it is important to understand. So whether you look at, for example, the progress that humankind has made in the last, say, 100 years, 200 years, what you are witnessing today is a revolution of capabilities, of technologies, of rapid growth, of the emergence of new countries, new powers, established powers, established countries are being challenged by newcomers, and there is a whole movement in the world, in the international community, to benefit from technology and to occupy space in all these domains. That is leading to tensions between the established powers and those who are emerging powers. So when you look at, let's say, a country like India, we have to keep in mind that today we are the largest country on the planet in terms of population. 1.4 billion people. 1 in 6 human beings is Indian. So everything that you do has to keep that reality and that simple fact in mind. Secondly, we want to break free from the past. We want to fast track and telescope our development, our progress. And as we try to break the shackles of the past, we will come across resistance. Because no one wants to shake or change the status quo. The status quo is something that was, by human nature, is something which everyone is comfortable with. But we should see ourselves as a nation, as India, as wanting to assert our rights and our capabilities on the world stage in different domains. So whether we explore the outer space, or whether we develop and go to the frontiers of research on nuclear energy, or in your case, if we go to the poles, we go to the deep oceans. These are all frontiers which till today were considered to be the preserve of the rich and the powerful. We were told, for example, that why should India be interested in the Antarctic or the Arctic? But we have proved why we are not only legitimate stakeholders, but that we can also contribute to the research of humankind in these two areas. As Dr. Meloth said, we have to be aware that we are racing against time, because humankind, the progress that it is making is so rapid, the global environment is changing so fast, that everything we do today, every piece of research that you are doing today, is going to determine the future of India after 5 or 20 or 15 years. So we are laying the foundations of the country's future today. And this is what we should pay respect to for all those people who started what you are doing 20, 30, 40 years ago. They were men of vision, they started it, and we are earning the fruits of their hard work, and you are laying the foundations for your next generation of Indians and researchers. And every generation of Indians which comes must contribute to ensuring a brighter future for the incoming next generation. So we will have competition. It will reflect itself in strategic competition, but it will reflect itself also in competition for resources, for privileges. And sometimes this confrontation or this competition is as per law, it is visible, but sometimes it is not visible, and sometimes legal means are not always used. And sometimes people use science, use research to achieve other objectives which may not have a direct relationship to science. So science can then become an instrument for global domination and for controlling our lives. So we have to be careful of that. For example, in the deep ocean mission that the Ministry of Earth Sciences has launched, it took a long time for the money, for the budget to be approved. And the reason was because even within government there are competing priorities. There are the requirements of the farmers, requirements of the poor, requirements of infrastructure. there are so many different competing demands on that same budget. The government decision to allocate money and a budget for something to do with deep ocean research is a reflection of the fact that there is someone in the government who understands the strategic importance of this mission. And therefore, when you look at the map of India, sometimes we forget where we are located, but luckily sitting in Goa, you look at the sea every single day of your life. There is a universe out there which we haven't even touched. We need to exponentially increase our exploration activities in the deep oceans. And this is the new challenge that we face. Because remember that science is not an end in itself. It is a means to achieving certain objectives which are of national importance. Today, for example, if we have achieved let's say a gross domestic product, a GDP of say $4 trillion, there is no doubt in anyone's mind that in a few years' time, you will be doubling it. And you will go beyond the doubling of it. Then what happens? Will you have the resources to sustain such high levels of income, such high levels of requirement and of need? Where will those resources come from? We need to ensure that we can tap those resources wherever and in whichever corner of the world they are in. This may not be a politically appropriate comment to make in public, but between us, we have to think about it in those terms. So there are so many dimensions of what you are doing. Dr. Meloth talked about the whole challenge of climate change. If we are not able to understand, and if we are not able to project and to forecast what the planet will look like after 10 or 20 years, and what impact that change will have on our day-to-day lives, then we are not being true to our country and to our nation. And I would like to see you as the frontline warriors of that whole enterprise. So I think the work that you're doing cannot be underestimated by any yardstick. And I think the way I see it, the future is going to be even more important and even more critical than the past was. And luckily, because of all of you and the leadership that you are enjoying, we have created a sound basis and a sound base so that we can look ahead with optimism. And so, with these words, I would like to once again congratulate each one of you. I would like to personally felicitate the director for his leadership, to the Ministry of Earth Sciences for the excellent job that the ministry itself is doing in keeping this agenda alive on the inbox of the government, of establishing India as a formidable power on the global stage in these small bodies, whether it is the Arctic Council or the Antarctic Treaty, or as a very, very important space power. These are all issues which we have to be proud of, and I want to congratulate, therefore, Ministry of Earth Sciences for the support that they are giving you and for the role that they are playing inside Delhi and internationally in this area. So with these words, I once again thank you for giving me this honor of being here today at this really wonderful institution. Thank you so much.
you so much, sir, for your great word and giving the remarks about the Indian strategic plan and implementation of the polar realms. आपके प्रेरणादायक शब्द और संबोधन के लिए हम सब लोग हृदय से आपका आभार व्यक्त करते हैं. So on behalf of NCPOR, I would like to extend our gratitude and honor to our esteemed guests today. I request our director to kindly present a small memento, Saran sir, as a token of appreciation toward the dedication to our nation. I would request our director to extend a gesture and appreciation to Professor Anil Bhardwaj for presenting him with the shawl. Again, I request the director to honor Dr. Vijay Kumar with a shawl as a token of appreciation for his valuable contribution. हम लोग अब अगले पड़ाव पे जा रहे हैं. इससे पहले स्टार्ट करने से पहले मैं कुछ कहना चाहूँगा. एक जावेद अख्तर साहब की एक बहुत ही नायाब शायरी है. क्यों डरे जिंदगी में क्या होगा, क्यों डरे जिंदगी में क्या होगा, कुछ ना होगा तो तजुर्बा होगा. So as we come to continue now this celebration, it's time to acknowledge and celebrate the hard work and dedication to our employees and early career researchers who have demonstrated the excellence in their prospective fields. I would like to request Dr. Manish Tiwari, Group Director RT Operations and Chairman of Academic Committee of NCPOR, to kindly highlight the significance of award and announce the name of all the awardees.
Thank you, Avinash. Respected dignitaries on the dais and dear friends. So as Professor Bhardwaj said, let's have some fun. He said we should have fun, so let's have some fun now. So here Avinash mentioned that I am standing here as the chairman of the academic committee, but behind me I should mention that there is a full team of academic committee for which I am the face here. And speaking of academic committee, we started some new beginnings in NCPOR, like we started the coursework for research scholars, then we started the seminar series for research scholars, and in that path we also started the Outstanding Employee and Outstanding ECR Paper Award. So today we celebrate excellence, dedication and hard work that contributes to our institute's progress. But to relish the destination, we have to appreciate the journey as well. So let me tell how it all started. So one fine evening, director messaged me that we used to have NCPOR Best Paper Award. Why don't you people discuss among yourselves and start it again? So we discussed among the academic committee, and then we discussed more. And then we reached to the conclusion that best means there will be only one person, there will be toxic competition. There has to be, the person has to be better than before. He or she should not be the best among the community, but he should be competing with himself or herself. So we thought, why not we start the outstanding awards, and those outstanding awards means many people can get it. So thinking that, then we thought, why only scientists? Because in research institutes, usually the scientists take all the credits. But the backbone of the institute, the support staff, finance, administration, procurement, IT services, outreach, all those are left behind. So we thought, why not we include everybody? So we thought of two types of award. First is the paper-based, and paper-based award will be will be provided to the early career researchers who are less than 35 years of age, and then there would be the Employees Award. In Employees Award, we have employees in Group A, and then Group B and Group C combined. So likewise, we have several awards lined up. So we will start with the youngsters, and for that, for this, we will start with the NCPOR Outstanding ECR Paper Award, which is Early Career Researcher. Now for this award, the papers published in year 2023 were considered. Now those papers were sent to the RAC. We see several papers, and those papers were sent to the RAC committee members for review. So these awards these papers went through a very rigorous evaluation, you can say, and I should name the RAC committee members who gave their time for evaluating these papers, and those were our chairman of the academic committee, chairman of the research advisory committee, Padma Shri, Dr. Shailesh Nair, then Professor John Turner from Cambridge University, Professor Devashish Sen Gupta from Indian Institute of Science, Professor K.S. Krishna, Professor Muhammad Atta, Professor N.C. Pant from Delhi University, and Dr. Rasik Ravindra, our ex-director and now Ministry of Earth Sciences. So all these people evaluated the papers received from NCPOR, and all of them appreciated all the papers. There was very tough competition, and in fact there was a tie between the papers. But finally, with the help of the director and his recommendations, we were able to finally take out two papers which director recommended for the outstanding awards. So when I call these papers, I am just calling them in the order of calling only. There is no first or second paper. All papers are equal. So the firstly, I would like to announce the award for the paper that goes to Dr. Muhammad Tariq. Let me read about the paper. Muhammad Tariq is currently Scientist D in the Marine Mineral sections of NCPOR. His paper is entitled Enhanced Carbon Dioxide Degassing from the Tropical Indian Ocean During Cold Climatic Events of the Last Glacial Cycle. It was published in the American Geophysical Union's Journal Paleoceanography and Paleoclimatology. It is co-authored by Waliur Rahman, Latika, Priyesh Prabhat, Dr. Thamban Meloth, and Sambuddha Mishra. Importantly, this is the first successful demonstration of boron isotope measurement in foraminifera in any Indian laboratory. So, please. I would request. So the award constitutes certificate as well as a memento. Please a round of applause. There is a memento as well. I would like to, for the other outstanding ECR paper award goes to Dr. Vikas Kumar. So Vikas is currently Scientist D in the Past Climate and Ocean Studies section, and his paper is titled Arctic Climate Indian Monsoon Teleconnection During the Last Millennium, Revealed Through Geochemical Proxies from an Arctic Fjord. It was published in the prestigious journal Global and Planetary Change. The paper is co-authored by Manish Tiwari, Dimitri Divine, Mathias Moros, and Arthur Mithele, who is Manish Tiwari. In this paper, Vikas has used machine learning techniques to find teleconnection between Arctic climate and Indian monsoon, how Arctic climate influences Indian monsoon. And this work was widely covered in media, highlighting its impact and relevance to the society. So with that, I would request Vikas to be on the dais. Yeah, a round of applause, please.
NCPOR co-authors will receive a certificate on their desk from the academic committee. And now, I should add here that these awards are not only our words, but director has kindly agreed that these ECRs will be sponsored for international visit if they continue to perform. So, so that is also there. And now we move to the juicy part, the NCPOR Outstanding Employee Awards. So first time in NCPOR we are going to start employee awards, and we received overwhelming response. And sadly we cannot give to everybody, though everybody deserves it. But this is just the beginning, so I would request you people to apply each year, and I think eventually data will recognize everybody's contribution. So here we have two categories, Group A and the combined Group B and C. Now I always put the juniors first, so let me start with the Group B and C awards, starting with the Group C. So the first Outstanding NCPOR Employee Award goes to Miss Reena Nayak. From the Antarctic Expedition Logistics Sections, who has been meticulously handling logistic activities for the various batches of the Antarctic Expedition, and wait for it, for the last 24 years. So, one of the founding members of NCPOR, let us say, it has senior to me as well. So the other Outstanding Employee Group C award goes to Miss Pallavi Nayak. She is Executive Administration who has been efficiently managing the Director's Office for more than a decade now. So Pallavi, please. Okay, so now we move to the Group B employees, NCPOR Outstanding Employee Awards, and that goes to Miss Sahina Ghazi, Scientific Assistant from the Fast Climate and Ocean Studies. Now Sahina has been excellently maintaining and successfully operating laboratories of the section, especially sophisticated equipments like scanning electron microscope and field emission scanning electron microscope, etc. for the last 11 years. So Sahina, please. And now comes the big guns, the Group A awards. Here we have two awards that are recommended for two people. And first award goes to Mr. Lalit Ahiwar. So why he comes here? Lalit is currently Scientist F here, and who is looking after NCPOR's information technology needs, without which we cannot survive in modern era. He manages the SAP, so he has his fingers in all the laptops and all the computers of NCPOR. And he has been designing and managing various websites of NCPOR for the last 18 years. So he has been serving NCPOR last 18 years. And on top of it, he is also the head of the finance and accounts. So the buck stops at him. Without his approval, nothing can do. So, in fact, he is master of all trades and jack of none. So, come. And the last but not the least, NCPOR Outstanding Award, Group A goes to Miss Swati Nagar. So Swati is currently project scientist here, and she has also been taking care of NCPOR's outreach activities for the last 8 years. And she has organized several outreach related functions in NCPOR. So she is basically projecting NCPOR to the wider world. And she has interacted with more than, you will not believe, 10,000 students at NCPOR. So this is mind-boggling, and we appreciate your contribution. Please. May I request the dignitaries to please take their seats. So, let me end with saying that these awards are not just about personal triumphs. They symbolize the spirit of our organizations. Let us draw inspiration from them. Let us not be content with mediocrity. Let us strive for excellence in everything we do. Let us push the boundaries of what is possible, and certainly our institute will rise. And with this, I thank the director for initiating these awards, and I thank my academic committee for supporting me at every step in this direction. And finally, I should thank the academic committee coordinators, Ms. Kaveri Kumar and Ms. Vidya Fatte, who did all the groundwork, and without which it would not have been possible. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Manish, for handling this session. Let's all put hands together and congratulate all the deserving individuals who has made the remarkable contribution to our organization and scientific community as a whole. पर जो इस बार सफल नहीं हुए, उनको हताश होने की आवश्यकता नहीं है, क्योंकि ऐसा कहा गया है कि लहरों से डरकर नौका पार नहीं होती, कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। नन्ही चींटी जब दाना लेकर चलती है, दीवारों पर 100 बार फिसलती है। मन का विश्वास रगों में साहस भरता है, चढ़कर गिरना, गिरकर चढ़ना अखरता नहीं। आखिर कभी मेहनत बेकार नहीं होती, क्योंकि कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। डुबकियां सिंधु में गोताखोर लगाता है, डुबकियां सिंधु में गोताखोर लगाता है, जाकर खाली हाथ लौट कर आता है। मिलते नहीं सहज मोती पानी में, मिलते नहीं सहज मोती पानी में, मुट्ठी उसकी हर बार खाली नहीं होती, क्योंकि कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। और अंतिम पद, असफलता चुनौती है, उसे स्वीकार करो। असफलता चुनौती है, उसे स्वीकार करो। क्या कमी रह गई और सुधार करो। जब तक सफल न हो, नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम। जब तक सफल न हो, नींद चैन को त्यागो तुम। संघर्ष का मैदान छोड़कर मत भागो तुम। कुछ किए बिना जय जयकार नहीं होती, क्योंकि कोशिश करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती। ये बहुत अच्छी रचना थी, सुहन प्रसाद लाल त्रिवेदी जी द्वारा रचित थी। So I congratulate each one of you who had kept the contribution towards the progress of NCPOR and achieved the milestone which has brought the several accolades to our institute across the world. So I would like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to all the distinguished guest speakers, attendees, and for gracing us with the presence of insightful contribution. As we come to the end of this auspicious event, I would like to take a moment to extend my sincere gratitude who has made this day as a resounding success. I feel honored to express my heartfelt thanks to Ambassador Pankaj Saran sir for taking the time in spite of his very busy schedule and gracing us with his presence. Sir, your word of the wisdom and encouragement has truly inspired us and left us the motivated to pursue excellence in our field. आपका दूरदर्शी नेतृत्व और भारत विदेश नीति राष्ट्रीय हित के विकास और प्रगति के लिए आपकी समर्पणशीलता वास्तव में प्रेरणादायक है और हमें आज आपके साथ होने पर गर्व महसूस हो रहा है. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Professor Anil Bhardwaj sir for agreeing to giving the invited talk and be present here. And it's in spite of his very busy schedule, he could give the time to us. I would like to thank our director, Dr. Thamban Meloth sir, for his guidance, vision and exceptional leadership at NCPOR has paved way to continue the success of polar and ocean research. I humbly extend my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Rahul Mohan for his invaluable guidance and planning for this event, for meticulously planning. I express my heartfelt gratitude to all the people who is being part of this memorable day. My special thanks to all the members of Welfare Committee who has extended the plan for organizing the event. I really appreciate the member of Outreach Cooperation and dedicated support. I really thank to, I think I forget that one of the most important member of this committee, Dr. Vijay Kumar sir, who has very last moment, very short notice, he has been agreed to come here and to be the part of this memorable event. I would like to thank all the administration, finance, store, state, IT division for their support. Thank you everyone for adding up a new chapter in the golden history of NCPOR. We will keep doing the best and serve the NCPOR serve as a nation best. So now it is time, let us to raise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल गंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उज्जल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
So now I'll request, we will have one group photograph quickly here. So I'll request the seniors may please come down up and also all the members, whoever can adjust here, please come forward immediately.